We'll start with the early game, which I thought was the late game up until a couple of hours ago. 49ers at the Eagles. It was 1.5 points for the Eagles. Now it's 2.5 points. Over under of 46.5. We broke this thing down looking at both sides of the ball earlier today. So I'm just going to give you a blank check, a clean slate. Talk about whatever you want to talk about as you walk your way through your thoughts on how this one is ultimately going to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing matchup, right? We've hit on this a lot during the year. These are probably the most complete teams in all of football. They don't have, Burrow or Mahomes, but Jalen Hurts obviously has established himself as one of the better quarterbacks in football. That's for sure. In the MVP conversation, very important to what they do for their football team. It's the number 1 and number 2 defense in football. It's like we talked about on the show today. It's the all ass kicker team. Again, if a fight broke out between the 32 teams in football, these would definitely be 2 of the teams that are in the Final Four. It's just this is back to old school who wins the line of scrimmage type of matchup, where I feel like the AFC game's a little bit about the quarterbacks and the skill guys. But that's not to say this game doesn't have some skill guys too. It's just they play it a little bit more through the physical manner maybe than spreading it out and throwing it. I think the biggest thing and the first thing I think I want to hit on is just this Eagles offense that we know is special against the 49ers defense. And again, the 49ers are not a great man-to-man football team, but they might have to dabble in some man this week if they want to stop all the things the Eagles can do in the run game. But normally, hey, the 49ers want to do things, Mike, like I explained earlier today, where, the nickel back, he kind of plays in between the slot receiver, but he's ready to help the run game. And that's where I think, screen games to the receivers can be a big thing. A.J. Brown, bubble screen out in the edge, Devontae Smith, they're going to do things like that, let alone we know they're going to run the football. The Eagles last week actually simplified what they did on offense. They basically, and I heard Nick Sirianni say this before the Giants game, we kind of went back in our week off and just looked at the things we did really well and then said, how can we keep doing that? And when I heard that, I went, oh, they're going to stop worrying about trying to check to this play and check to that play, and they're going to go, wait, we can just call some of these plays, and we're going to be good no matter what. All right, so they can impose their physical will on you in the run game. But I don't know if they can do that against the 49ers. That's going to be the million-dollar question. The 49ers run defense and the Titans run defense was in another class from the rest of football this year as far as stopping the run is concerned. They got big up front, they got fast dudes on the edge at defense end, and they got the best duo of linebackers in football. And so their ability not only to stop the power run game, but then the read option off that, they're set up to do that, But I haven't seen them have to play an offense quite like this all year. And that's where, that's the first part of the matchup that I think is very intriguing, Mike, and I'll leave it off there before we dive into the other side. But, what kind of jumps out at you as far as the 49ers D versus the Eagles offense in this matchup?
Well, look, the 49ers defense consists of guys who, as we say time and again, will roll out of bed, run through a brick wall. Sometimes the brick wall wins and guys get injured, but right now they're healthy. And that is a huge advantage for the 49ers. Now, this offense, it can run the ball, it can pass the ball. Jalen Hurts, an MVP candidate. At one point, it looked like he was the favorite and was the favorite until he suffered the shoulder injury. By all appearances, he's healthy, or at least he's healthy enough to play. He's got a great attitude. He's a great leader. And I think that offense overall will rise to the challenge and just score enough points. And again, that's the only stat that matters, points scored versus points allowed. How many points do you need to muster as the Eagles offense? This may be a low-scoring game. I see this over-under of 46.5, and I think it may be a little high. I'm not sure. It may be close. It may be close. Yeah. And I'm doing the math right now on what I think my projected score is going to be. Right. And I'm going to be right over. Yeah. I got 47 total points. I'm not telling you yet how many each team is going to get. But it could be like last week where it's 9-9 in the second half. Yeah. And a touchdown here by one team or the other is the thing that just breaks it open. It's not going to be a 14-point margin. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a close, tough, hard-fought game. And that actually favors the 49ers because they just went through it with the Cowboys. The Eagles had it a little easy against the Giants. They weren't in a fight. Right. And now if they're in a fight, the 49ers have a recent memory of being in a fight. I don't know how relevant that is. I remember when the Cowboys came back and beat the Texans, and Dak Prescott was like, well, that'll serve us well in the playoffs. Well, you're not playing the Texans in the playoffs. At least for the 49ers, when they won a hard-fought game, it was against a damn good team.
Right.
So that does give them, and I hadn't really thought about this, it does give them a little bit of an edge if it's a close game because they've just done it.
Yeah, they're comfortable in that setting. You know, I think they are. Yeah, defense. You know, I think they opted to play that way last week, like we discussed on Monday and Tuesday. You know, I think they were kind of reluctant on. I think they knew if we just play conservative and don't let Brock Purdy throw it 40 times a game, and the Cowboys get a strip sack fumble and a one tip pass interception to Trayvon Diggs, we'll win the game. So I think they played conservative. But so yeah, that's where this is interesting too, Mike. I mean, I'm with you. I could see the defenses struggle, but in this one too, I could see the opposite a little too. Even though the defenses are 1-2 in football, we got two. Neither one of these defenses played an offense like the other this year. And then they got two very good coordinators on both sides where they know how to attack rules on the defense. They just don't call plays and go, oh, I like this play, and it's got answers for everything. They're going to call a play and go, wait, they're playing this coverage? I am going to attack this coverage if they want to do that. And that's where, you know, it could get interesting too. Well, I think that Shanahan and company know they're going to have to be aggressive or more aggressive than last week because you can't expect your defense to stop the Eagles' offense completely. You know, they're way better on the offensive side of the ball than the Cowboys. And then I also, you know, look at it and go, the Eagles put the 49ers defense in some binds that they haven't been in all year. And we saw some teams that, you know, we talked about the Raiders and the Miami Dolphins and even the Chiefs early in the year. They had an understanding of how the 49ers rules work, and they attacked it and really made some big plays. That's something I'm looking at. Because, again, Mike, the bind the 49ers are going to be in, like we said earlier, is they don't want to play man. So then they play these 4 across looks, right? And they ask, like, Hufanga to be, hey, we want you to kind of be a deep safety, but we want you to come down in a hurry and react to the run game. And he's gotten himself in trouble towards the end of the regular season by being too aggressive and letting up Devontae Adams' big plays and things of that behind him. So that's you know, you brought up a good point. I could really see the game going either way. When it comes down to this 49ers defense versus Eagles offense, I do think the biggest thing to me will be, yes, the controlling of the run game up the middle and couple that with the ability of Jalen Hurts to keep it on the edge. And can the 49ers contain that with their front 6, right? You know, with the 4 linemen, the 2 backers. Can they do that? Because the moment they start going, wait, we got to put more people down in here to help out, then that's going to give the Eagles some really easy looks, and I don't think they can match up with the receivers on the outside. So that's, to me, where I really look at the key aspect of that matchup.
In the next last drive of the Cowboys-49ers game, we talked about this on Monday. Michael Gallup was open. Dak Prescott missed him. He should have thrown the ball to the inside. He threw the ball to the outside. It would have given them a nice chunk of yardage as they were trying to drive down the field and make it 19-18 pending Brett Maher either making or missing a one-pointer or going for 2 and going for the win. I raise that now because I'm curious, and this is one way to bridge Eagles offense and 49ers offense. Who do you trust more to make a big throw in a big spot between the 2 quarterbacks in this game, Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy?
Oh, I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. You know, again, Jalen Hurts is – I've never seen
– Or Gardner Minshew. Let's throw Minshew in too.
Well, yeah, again, Jalen Hurts doesn't blink. And the one thing where, you know, Jalen Hurts, you know, again, his throwing and passing has certainly come a long way. He's definitely not at, you know, the Mahomes-Burrow level yet. But one area he's very good at is the deep ball. That's the one thing he is top-notch, and he's elite at it. He understands how to, make it a jump ball, or let me throw it out there far enough and high enough to where the guy can now just go run under it. You know, he's really got a good feel for that. So I would give Jalen Hurts the edge in that department.
Yeah, I would as well. And, you know, I mentioned Gardner Minshew gratuitously, but when you think about it, you could make the argument that Brock Purdy is the 3rd best quarterback who will be in the building on Sunday.
Watch it.
You could make that argument.
I know you can.
I mean, couldn't you?
Yeah, but you can't tell people that right now, man. Right now, Brock Purdy is in the conversation with Burrow, Allen, and Mahomes as the best quarterbacks in the sport. You didn't know? I mean, that's what it's gotten down. I mean, I'm hearing conversations is he a top 10 quarterback? I'm just like, some of the things I've heard over the last week, I just want to go, wait, I got respect for Brock Purdy. He's doing a great job. Let's pump the brakes with 2 feet. Like, jam on him. Like, come on. We're going to Crazyville now. Again, it's been really good. He's doing a lot of good things. We know this team is awesome around him. They support him the right way. But yeah, I hear what you're saying there.
Is he immune to the reality that, and this point comes up all the time when a quarterback plays for the first time, you need 4 to 6 games of film to truly break him down, figure out his tendencies, figure out his tells, pick up on trends, know where he's going to go with a hot read, know what he's going to do, just all the stuff from the moment he comes out of the huddle to the moment the whistle blows. You begin to figure out who he is and what he is. Is he immune to that because it's more of system than it is individual quarterback traits?
That's exactly it. Shanahan keeps track of that stuff, right? That's where, again, they're special. And like the Eagles, it's not necessarily quarterback-centric. I think it's refreshing and cool. When I say that, though, people think it's disrespectful. I'm not trying to say it's disrespectful. I don't know. I grew up with my dad won 2 Super Bowls as it was not a quarterback-centric team, so I don't look at that as being, offensive. But either way, yes. But I think the biggest thing is, Mike, to your point, I think you're spot on. It's more the system and all of that. Is Shanahan he's creative. And because of the run game, you always have to worry about that to such an extent. And then it's like it's hard to have telltale signs about what he's going to do off the play action and the boot, right? If they were a team that drop back past 40 times a game, then your point would be very real, because then quarterbacks do have specific things they do in certain situations that they seem to rely on or always do, and those become, a bit of an issue unless you correct them or whatever. But they don't play that way, and that's where they're an interesting football team. And then to that point, while we're on there, I think that's a big thing of the game. Again, I don't mean to be like, oh, it's about the running game. I never want to say that. But in this one, this holds true in both sides of the matchup. I mean, if Brock Purdy has to drop back 40 times in this game, the 49ers are going to lose. I can just tell you that. This is one of the best pass rushes in the history of football. So, again, as good as that 49ers O-line is, I don't think they're going to be able to sit there and protect against that group all game long, let alone they're creative with how they blitz, let alone they can play zone and man behind it. They're good at both, unlike the Niners, who are only good at zone. And Deebo Samuel has not been, as great down the field separating as maybe last year and all that because of the injuries and all that. So that's where I don't look at that as being a thing for them. They need to be able to run the ball to a semblance of at least get the Eagles worried about it and make some things easier for Brock Purdy in the pass game and play-action pass game off of that.
So, let's get to it then.
Yeah.
And I want to make one other point.
Yeah, cool. I do too.
I don't think it's an insult to call a quarterback. I don't think it's an insult to call a quarterback a system quarterback. I think the wall goes like this. The system quarterback is the guy who comes out, runs the play as designed, and if it doesn't work, that's that. The non-system quarterback is the guy who comes out ostensibly to run the play that's called, but when the shit hits the fan, he can do all sorts of other things, make magic, extend the play, dance around, run around, do whatever, improvise, scramble, whatever, and gain your yards and score your points.
Right.
That's where quarterback transcends system, because everybody's operating in a system. The guys who are special are the guys who operate the system, but then come up with their own system on the fly when needed. Is that a fair?
I think
is that a fair delineation?
It's
of the
very,
two?
very fair assessment. Exactly right. And those guys are rare. To your point, I mean, they're very rare. And that's where I don't understand why people get so offended all the time when you talk about it. Joe Burrow to a point, is a game manager. He's awesome at it, and he never misses, and he never makes a mistake. And then, to your point, maybe not like Josh Allen or Mahomes, but then he's just going to make, oh, wait, people are covered. I got a little pressure. I'm going to slide around in the pocket, and boom, I'm going to hit a 20-yard crosser as I'm kind of running up in the pocket, to where, hey, yeah, it's, and I don't want to call Joe Burrow a system quarterback, but I think I'm just trying to make the point to you that system quarterback, a guy that relies on the system, there's nothing wrong with that. There's not. Troy Aikman, damn, good team, executed the system to a perfection, made all the big clutch throws in the big moments. The stats will never go 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, none of that. But the importance and the timing of the big throws was important. And that's where I think Joe Burrow is amazing. Like, hey, there's a touchdown to be had in the second quarter. He's open by 4 inches. Boom, touchdown. It's never like, oh, I missed it. They missed an opportunity, and now they got to kick a field goal. I don't know. Yeah. So that's the big thing. And I'm with you there. Hey, well, one other thing too, I want to make a point with the Eagles defense and the 49ers offense is just that, Jonathan Gannon and what they do on the defensive side of the ball, they do a lot of stuff. That's where I'm excited to see what Shanahan has in store for them. Gannon was, painfully simple last year and even a little bit early this year. But he opened Pandora's box, and, man, they do everything now. And that's where, again, I don't think the 49ers can be as conservative on offense as last week. I think there's going to have to be some more trickeration in the run game, more trickeration in the, play-action pass game, and maybe a few more reverses and speed sweeps and things like that just to keep this Eagles defense off balance.
All right, so let's get down to it.
Let's do it.
2.5-point favorites are the Eagles.
All right.
I got mine written down.
Okay.
I ain't changing it based upon what you do. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Go ahead. You can go first here.
I've said all along that the 49ers are the best team in the NFL. The 49ers have this nucleus of badasses, and if you keep them healthy, they should be able to get to the Super Bowl and win it. And I still believe that. But in certain moments, quarterback play is relevant. Quarterback play is critical. Quarterback play is the potential difference maker. Am I ready to trust Brock Purdy to go to Philadelphia to cap his rookie season by beating the number 1 seed and advance to the Super Bowl? Am I convinced that he can sufficiently shut down his humanity, that he can sufficiently ignore how he's feeling inside, the churning of his gut, the spinning of the gears in his brain as to what this win would mean to him as an NFL player, how it would unlock a future filled with wealth and fame beyond his wildest imagination because he never imagined even playing, much less taking a team into a conference championship game. I'm not going to assume that he can ultimately do it and be the difference maker. And I say that fully aware of the fact that he is the ultimate system quarterback, that he's a bystander at times to the exploits of Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, and that the passes he throws aren't low percentage needle thread. It's right. Guys wide open
right.
Because the defense is trying not to get gashed by the running game. And so Kyle Shanahan swoops in with a play that just works perfectly. And there's George Kittle to make the catch and rumble with it another 20 yards. So what I decided to do was split the baby, thread the needle. And I remembered a time years ago when the 49ers went to Philadelphia. They were underdogs, and it was the 2011 season. It was the dream team year for the Eagles. The 49ers had been bad the year before. It was Jim Harbaugh's first season, and I picked the upset. I picked the 49ers to win the game 25-24. They won the game 24-23. So I like that number, 24-23. But what I'm going to do 11 years later, I'm going to take 24-23, and I'm going to flip the outcome. Eagles 24, 49ers 23. Eagles advance to the Super Bowl. 49ers cover. I'm covered either way. I'm covered either. So if the 49ers win, I'm at least picking them with the points. Maybe I get lucky and it's a 1 or a 2 point game and Eagles win and I get both. But I'm willing to give up one to have the other. Eagles 24, 49ers 23.
Yeah, I listen, you said a lot of good things there. You really did. I think with a lot of the things, I would totally agree with what you said with Brock Purdy and that situation. Understand that. I think also I look at this. Listen, I picked 49ers Chiefs before the year. I want to stay with that. You know who I'm rooting for. I want my buddy Kyle Shanahan to win and win the Super Bowl. That's no disrespect to Nick Sirianni of the Eagles. But my true football evaluation and getting down to that, I think the Eagles are going to win the football game. I'm going to take the Eagles 28-20. I do. I just look at it and go, I think the Eagles got more answers to the problems the 49ers pose as compared to the other way where I go, I don't know what the 49ers answers are going to be in this thing. And I got to, Shanahan I know is magical, as you know, and you said too. But I got to see it because he's going to have to show it to me because I can't imagine it or figure it out right now to exactly how I can look at it and go, oh yeah, they are going to move the ball up and down the field on the Eagles defense all game long, or oh yeah, they will have all the right answers to stop the run and cover the freak shows outside in the pass game. So that's where I go with the Eagles. I think it's going to be an awesome football game, but I think ultimately the talent of the Eagles, them being at home, and yes, it's still a rookie quarterback to everything you were saying there. I just can't go with the Niners, not logically. I'll be rooting for them in my heart and all of that, but my brain says the Eagles are going to win.
All right, there you have it. We both picked the Eagles to win. Chris picks the Eagles to cover. I picked the 49ers getting the 2.5. 24-23 for me, 28-20 for Chris.
Thanks for watching, homies. Hit subscribe to see all my unbuttoned videos. You get to see me, Ahmed Fareed, all the big player breakdowns, game breakdowns, player interviews, and my film analysis. So please subscribe. Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Peace out.